What's up, Internet? We're the Latinx Film and Theater Association at UCLA, and we're going to be reacting today to Do All Latinos Think the Same by Jubilee. Wait, that's right? Jubilee? Jubilee?
Yeah, I don't know how to say it,
Said
but
it wrong. So I don't think, have any of us seen this video? Have any of you guys seen it?
I've actually seen this video.
You've seen?
Yeah,
Wow,
it was a little while back, but maybe I forgot some stuff. So let's see.
I don't believe I've seen it, so it'll be interesting. It's interesting how this came to be because I remember Alan's like, I went on YouTube and I typed in Latinos, and that's the first video that popped up. So that's how this came to be. All right, cool. Let's hop right into this video.
And stick around because we're going to talk about some cool stuff at the end of the episode. In the meanwhile, enjoy.
I remember on my third day in my first school here in the U.S., this kid in the locker room was like, "So what part of Mexico is Colombia in?" And I was just like...
I celebrate Cinco de Mayo. 3, 2, 1, go.
I used to work at bars and I would...
Okay, hold up. Wait. Do any of you guys actually celebrate the Cinco de Mayo?
Like, unironically? Go ahead, Maria.
Oh, like, what do you mean by celebrate? I feel like the way you celebrate it here in the United States, like, basically what everyone does is just, like, drink and don't even know the significance. But I don't celebrate it.
I learned from a class that this was just basically like more. It's not necessarily related. People think that it's related to like Mexico when it's not. It's more for like a Chicano. You feel me? Like it's a Chicano kind of holiday, but people think that it's Mexican, and a lot of people think it's Mexican Independence Day.
I thought it was Mexican. I thought it was the Batalla de Puebla.
Yeah, but if you ask people in Mexico, they don't celebrate it like that. Like it's not like it is here.
I feel like...
I wonder,
Sorry, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I had a friend who was like, their parents were from Puebla, and I don't think they ever celebrated. They celebrated this other day, but never that one. So I wonder, just white people
like,
trying to...
How'd that come to be? Just marketing, just trying to sell beer on that day?
Yeah.
I think it's basically like another St. Patrick's Day, but like attached to Mexico instead of Ireland, I think. Is that what they attach St. Patrick's Day to?
Like,
yeah,
the Irish and the little and the little leprechauns and stuff. I actually never thought of it like that. That's actually really interesting. But yeah, I mean, I guess when I was little, my city would hold festivals, but they were actually like Latino run. Like it wasn't like a bunch of white people. And they would have like mariachis playing, and then my sisters would dance folklorico, and my mom would dress me up in folklorico, but I can't dance because I have 2 left feet. So I was just wearing the little dress to look cute. But I didn't actually dance. But we did have festivals like that on Cinco de Mayo, but it wasn't anything like, nobody was wearing ponchos and sombreros, and like they weren't like screaming like ay ay ay, like that's so
Yeah.
I feel like that's what white people think it is. Yeah, I feel like that's what white people think it is. And the people that post are like Cinco de Drinko, and they're just like an excuse to like get effed up off of like a Corona. So
Again, completely disrespecting such an important part of the history that I'm just like, I stay away from it.
Part of why I'm so turned off by like the whole concept of how we celebrate it in the U.S. is that, it was like an excuse for people to act really out of pocket and disrespectful and kind of make us feel like they were doing something special for us at the same time. And I was like, yo, I'm not even like Mexican, and this is not what the struggle is about.
I like what you said about, it's kind of disrespectful, and I agree. And that's one of the big problems that I have with like other people who are Mexican American saying like, well, I don't have a problem with it. And it's like, well, one, you probably don't have any ownership of it. Like, it doesn't mean anything to you personally.
Looks like a coconut,
and two,
man.
they have this concept that like, well, if more
Definitely
people are
like your
exposed to it,
generation.
then that means that they'll accept us. And it's like, nah, that's not how that works. It's a day for me to kind of think about my own experiences and how I can teach other people.
Are they
Because
really accepting us? It's not really us. That's not
Yeah.
who we are.
Yeah,
we
they're
don't all wear sombreros and have
Facts.
handlebar mustaches
Yeah.
and eat tacos every day.
I don't even have a sombrero.
Assume I'm Mexican. 3, 2,
For like a
1,
chado
go.
outfit. But like,
Unpopular opinion, I'm not that big of a fan of tacos either. I
honestly,
don't know if that's weird.
I'm more of a burrito man.
yeah. I mean,
Which is completely unrelated to this, but
just like real talk, guys, real quick. Tacos, trash. Just kidding. I feel that though. Like, I feel like I have to be in a mood for tacos.
yeah, like that late night kind. I know I eat them like late night for some reason. You're like, oh, what do we eat? And then just go to get street tacos because there's a bunch of street tacos.
It is a
here.
late night food.
Yeah.
I'm never
I
like,
think in my
I want tacos in the like at 3 p.m.
Mhm.
I think in my family it's just like we make tacos out of everything we're eating. Like we just have to have tortillas
Everything.
where they're and we're like,
Grabs-
beans, throw them in there.
Cheerios and
Oh,
dumps them into her taco.
But yeah, I mean, I guess that's also. It's not that I'm like tired of it. I mean, tacos are really good. But also just sometimes too much meat is a little for me. So personally,
For me, it's a greasy
I'm a-
tortilla.
I'm a big fan of rice and beans, so I think that's why I like the burritos more. That's such a
Yes, I
Mexican
like
thing for
burritos
me to
more. I
say,
don't know.
but
I feel young.
But yeah.
Sorry, I turned this into a discussion on tacos instead of whether Latinos.
okay, wait. I have a question of the way that they're doing it because I'm a little confused. So they give a statement and then they move to a line of whether or not if they agree, it means they relate, and if they disagree, they don't relate. Right?
Yeah. So like,
Yeah.
the statement, like, I'm using tacos as the topic as, but let's say like the statement is I like tacos. You would move to whether you strongly disagree with that statement, disagree, somewhat agree, whatever you feel.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Whoops.
Usually people find out that I'm Hispanic or Mexican because of my name, but it's never because of my appearance, because I'm paler, I have blonde hair. People just assume that all Mexicans are dark and shorter and like have dark hair, but the reality is like Mexicans come in all sorts of colors, just like America.
I've never gotten like, you look Mexican, even though I feel like in every Latino blog I read, it's like people always assume I'm Mexican as a Latino, and I'm just like, well, it's not really true to me.
I only get called Mexican because of what you said. Oh, you're Latina, so you must be Mexican, and then I go explain, like, there's a whole continent, like, there's like many, many countries, and, and a lot of Latinos are from the US, like, we're the largest minority. We didn't all just come, last week, we've been here, so it's just ignorance.
I super hear that because, like, I remember on my third day in my first school here in the US, this kid in the locker room was like, so what part of Mexico is Colombia in? And I was just like, so for my third world country, they teach us the effing world, but out here, apparently in like the Silicon Valley, you guys don't get a map.
I feel comfortable speaking my native language in public.
Wait, pause real quick. What was that shot? Did any? I know this is just me, but like it was like half of the screen was like blocked out by like someone's shoulder.
Wait,
I didn't
really?
even pick up on that.
That?
No.
Pick up.
Go back.
Like
Who was
in the
talking?
video?
Yeah, in the video.
I don't know. I got hella tripped up because they said Silicon Valley and that's where I live. So I was like,
Go like 10 seconds.
Was it the last guy talking?
I I was like,
Yeah.
so for my
This is
third
about
world
to-
country,
Okay,
they
wait.
teach us the effing world, but out here, apparently in like the Silicon Valley,
Oh,
you
that.
guys don't get a map.
That, like, what the hell is that?
It's artistic.
They were trying to be artsy.
It was to create depth.
2, 1, go.
Wait, what was the question?
What was the question?
I don't know.
Since I
Oh, I see.
Too busy on
Oh, okay.
People speaking my native language.
3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, wow, okay.
You bet.
A lot of people are.
Since I've moved to the Bay, I've had Mexican, Salvadorian, and Honduran parents and students literally act as if they don't understand me because I speak in a Black Spanish vernacular.
Interesting.
I'm just at the point where I'm just like, I'm tired of like acting as if our language is uneducated or acting as if our language is like, comes from nothing. Our language comes from literally everything.
Even though I'm not fluent in Spanish, I'm conversational, I still speak it at work, like, and all my customers, they come to me relieved, like, when they find out that I can communicate to them in Spanish. And even though I'm not fluent, I do, however, see a little dishonor, kind of, when I go visit family.
Well, I mean, like, for me, in my experience, I kind of had the same thing where I grew up speaking Spanish and then I went to school, lost it, and then I've regained it as I've gotten older. But, like, for me, I live in a fairly conservative area.
Same.
Like, people have Confederacy tattoos. It can be really intense, you know what I mean? And for me, there is still
In
a
the
little
Bay?
bit of that fear.
I love the instant affinity you have
that
with
is like, I
people,
need to get out of
especially
And I'm like,
they're emotional about it. Like people who have left everything to come here and they're not even seen. And when I speak to them in Spanish, I feel that they feel seen.
Wait, I
for the
missed that.
first
Why is she
time.
crying? Why?
Alan's like, I'm so
Even though we're not
focused
from
on
the
that
country, we don't
angle
have the
that they
same
use.
experiences.
No, I just
feel like
completely missed that
have
little
to,
part.
and
Like, I started to pay attention.
I
She
am
was already
so-
crying. I was like, okay, wait,
I
what's
feel
going
so
on?
blessed that I can speak Spanish.
I can't
I
remember.
just hope like
Did you either rewind or
I'll
explain?
rewind.
getting a little more.
She's saying some deep stuff
like
right here.
people who have left everything to come here, and they're not even seen. And when I speak to them in Spanish, I feel that they feel seen for the first time. And even though we're not from the same country, we don't have the same experiences, I just feel like I have to, and I
Oh man, I
am
feel that. Can we
so-
pause real quick?
I feel so
Holy
blessed that I
shit.
can.
Yeah, because I would work. I used to work at Taco Bell before the pandemic at UCLA, and you know most of the people who work there are like don't speak Spanish. And I remember this one time, this custodian lady, she wanted to buy something, so she had her friend go with her just in case someone didn't speak Spanish. But then she was like super surprised that I was there and that I was speaking Spanish. It feels so nice to be able to do that to people, and like especially at UCLA, like at the dining halls, I would always like speak Spanish to the people because I know like, you know, they usually might not get that there. So I get what she's saying, and I'm sorry for making fun of her. But
You're like, I like to formally apologize. No, but I feel that because like I work at a Rubio's, which is a very whitewashed Mexican restaurant. I had no idea what it was before I started working there. So I mean, once I started working there, I was like, oh, this is like a whitewashed Mexican place. But
Taco Bell.
yeah,
I feel like Chipotle too.
yeah. A lot of people get the orders mixed up, and I'm like, we're not Chipotle, but a lot of Latinos still like to go to Rubio's, and a lot of them will come, and sometimes, you know, because obviously Latinos come in all different, like they none of them look the same, so sometimes it's hard to tell when they can or can't speak Spanish, but they all do this thing where what I've noticed is that they will give me a look, kind of like, and you can see it in their eye, they're kind of nervous to start speaking because they don't know if I'm gonna understand them if they have like a heavier accent.
Yeah.
But they'll like walk up and I'll be like, hi, like what can I get for you today? And then they'll just pause, and then I'm just like, hola, and then they're like, oh shit, and then they get super comfortable. And that's like one thing that I do like about growing up and learning to speak Spanish is that you're able to communicate with these people who you could see it in their face. They're like so uncomfortable when they approach because they're like, ooh, I don't know if you're going to be able to understand me. But yeah, it's just weird that they all give me the same look. Like they're like kind of like they're
Like relief.
Yeah, or no. They give me a look before they start speaking, and it tells me like, "Hey, I'm a little nervous, and I don't know if you speak Spanish, and I don't know if we're gonna be able to communicate." And then it's just like that one look, and I'm like, "Okay, I know I have to start speaking Spanish to you," and it makes it a whole lot easier. And I've learned a lot more words than I originally went in knowing. But yeah,
Yeah, I definitely.
Go ahead.
I definitely agree with that. And then not only that, but it kind of almost creates like an instant connection. Like you kind of just feel like you know them already.
Mm-hmm.
Like I used to have like my first year of college, I had like you know, the maintenance workers that would come in and like clean the rooms, and like
They're always so
basically
nice.
they're so nice. She would come in and like we would just start talking Spanish, and we kind of like built this little friendship. It was so nice, just because like
Just
I was only literally it was like I think it was me and one other girl that were Latinas on the like entire floor. So it was just kind of like a nice little thing, and then I felt like it was a nice little like instant connection once like we started talking in Spanish.
Yeah.
I feel like there's an advantage, right? To because I know some people. I know so many like no sabo kids. like, so, like they grew up and they don't know proper Spanish or like enough to carry on like a normal conversation because their parents know English, so they spoke English when they were at home. And like since my parents don't know like English, all I spoke at home was Spanish, and that helped me like not lose the language because I feel like losing. I feel like as the generations go on, some of that language is lost if you don't make an effort to preserve it.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like, I mean, as far as I know, we're on like able to speak decently in Spanish.
Yeah, my dad's a no sabo kid.
Oh no! Wait, how did you?
Okay, it's like a funny story, and it always makes people laugh every time I tell it. So my first language was Spanish, and I didn't learn English until I was about like in kindergarten. So what's that, like age 5? So
yeah, around there.
That's what. So literally for the first 5 years of my life, I could not communicate with my dad, like in a language that we both understood.
It's so fun. Wait, I've never heard any like instance where that's like the case.
I think it's because because my grandparents don't really speak English, so my mom really wanted us to be able to speak with them. Also, because my grandparents helped raise us a lot, my sisters and I. So
that makes sense.
Obviously, my mom's like, I'm not just gonna drop you off at your grandma's house and then you guys not be able to talk to her. So we grew up and we watched everything in Spanish. So like Disney movies like Aristocats. I still haven't seen that in English. I've only seen it in Spanish. And the songs go hard, bruh. In Spanish. I'm just like,
Yo, the Lion King in Spanish. That's actually how I first, because I can relate. I didn't know Spanish. I mean, I didn't know Spanish. I didn't know English until I was like 5 or 4.
I think I was the same.
Like, that was my first language. So,
but yeah,
I would speak to kids in the playground, like trying to imitate their English.
Yeah, and then I went to schools, and they were called TWIBI, which stands for Two-Way Bilingual Immersion. So they were schools in Spanish, and then 1 hour a day they would teach you English. So I basically did Spanish my entire life on an academic level. So that's why I'm not very fluent in like slang Spanish, but like academic Spanish, I guess, like colonizer Spanish.
Like the proper one, yeah.
Colonizer Spanish, I got you on that. But yeah, so like with my dad, I found this old home video of me when I was like maybe like 2, and my dad's talking to me, but he's telling me to dance in English, and he's like, okay, dance. And I just looking at him like, what the hell? And then he goes, okay, baila. And then I get all fucking, I start moving, I start
like,
grooving.
oh.
I'm like, oh, that's what you wanted me to do. But he was just like, okay, dance. And I was like, what are you saying? And then as soon as he said baila, I literally threw it down. I did a whole break.
Like, you don't need to speak anymore. I got it.
Do you ever make fun of your dad because he's an Osabo kid and you're not?
Honestly, okay, no, he would make fun of us because he would just be like, "Hey, remember when you didn't speak English?" And I was like, "What the fuck?"
Bruh. What?
But he can understand it, but he can't speak it. But he loves watching soccer in Spanish. He has no idea what's going
okay,
on.
I get that because the announcers in Spanish are so hyped.
Yeah,
Like, compared to like the English, because like
Intense.
in the English, like when you're watching like the Premier League, it's usually like they're usually like British, and they're very monotone. But then you hear a Spanish speaking announcer, and the hype, they're just so hyped. It's it's way better.
Literally so funny.
It's something about the it's something about the English language, because I feel like in other languages it's still as intense as in Spanish. It's just English for
English
some
is just
reason.
boring.
Just like,
You should just not speak English.
It's just the British guy. Like, I think because also he was doing things as he was watching it. So, like, if somebody would score while he was watching in English, he'd have no idea because they're just like, and then they pass it to so and so, and then goal. And then in English, he's just like, no, golazo. And so my dad was like, no.
Have you heard of El Pero Bermúdez?
I have not.
That dude throws in metaphors for soccer. It's so funny. He throws in metaphors
like
when
the
they score.
OG.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. We should probably get back to the video.
Oh, shit.
That no Sabo thing threw us off.
Oh shit! This question's about Latinx.
Ooh.
Wait, pause it. I gotta read. I'm a slow reader.
No, it was just like, does Latinx offend me? And then I think it's just the definition of Latinx.
I kind of like.
Wait, what was the question though? Do you think it's a term or?
While
no, the statement was like Latinx is offensive to me, and then people disagree.
Oh, okay, got
I'm waiting
so these people
for the
don't
point where there will
agree
be another
with
term
our
because it
name.
just doesn't sit right.
So
I
gotta
call
No,
myself a Latina.
like
No,
those
a lot of these people
are not offended.
Oh, okay.
Are not offended.
Okay, then they're the homies. They're
Most of
invited
the
to
people
the
aren't
stuff.
offended.
That I call them Latinx. Of course, I'm going to honor that, and I am glad that there is a term that they embrace. But I don't think I should have to change mine.
I think
People are about to
are
throw
gonna call
down.
themselves what they want, and they've been doing that forever. I think it's the fact that when we say Latino or Latina, we
Bro,
are
that's not even complicated to say
excluding
like
trans
Latin.
people
And
in
like
our
if you
language.
identify
Like,
like
our
a
language is
Latina,
powerful, and I
or
think
Latino,
that
like
I know
you
what you're
just
saying because I've
say
had this
that,
conversation
but,
with
like,
my parents and
there's
my
nothing
aunts.
wrong with
Like
saying
it's worth a
I'm
tiny bit of
Latinx.
discomfort.
Like
I don't
So
think people should be offended by it. Like, why are you gonna be offended by it?
People.
I thought they
it's
were.
like, I'm scared of the
Oh,
letter
go ahead.
X.
I was just gonna say, so many people. Oh, I think my camera turned off. Hello. Okay.
Got offended too.
I think I'm back on. The camera was like, "Shut up." Okay. Anyway, I like on TikTok, somebody would just post a video and be like, "Oh, my Latinx people, like check this store out," and then people in the comments would be like, "You lost me as soon as you said Latinx," and I'm like, "Huh?" I'm like, "Why are y'all so booty tickled?" Like, I don't understand. But also, I've heard that people are trying to keep the idea of having it be like a gender neutral term, but instead of Latinx, they want it to be Latine, like with an E at the end. That's a few things that I've heard. So I mean, I would use them interchangeably, just because people say that it's easier to pronounce Latine versus Latinx. So obviously, I can't dominate the conversation.
That sounds like you're saying Latine, like
or like
Latine.
Latina.
Like
Oh, I sounds like what?
I was like my dumb. I was like,
Latine. Le atine.
I thought you were just saying like it sounds like you're saying Latina. I was like, yeah, that's what she's saying.
I was
though.
like,
Latine.
I hope so.
Latine, like Latine la pelota.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Yeah. That's what I thought this debate was going to be about. I thought they were going to talk about Latina and Latinx. Because, I have heard that Latinx is kind of like a colonizer term because in the Latin American languages, like, X isn't really a sound. So they prefer Latina. So that's what I thought it was going to be about. But people are just like, yeah, man, just if you identify as a Latino, then say Latino. Just don't ruin it for everyone. I don't get why you should be offended by Latinx.
I definitely agree with that.
You do you, man.
Yeah.
They've taught in a lot of the Chicanx classes, at UCLA, that the term has been so changed over the years, where like sometimes it'll be with an at, sometimes that it will have like the X, so it's constantly changing, but they can't like find something that's universal. But that's just the thing, you're not going to find something that's universal because everyone's always going to have an opinion. And I think they've really used Latinx specifically for like academia, so maybe that's why like college students are more exposed to Latinx, but also they know the intention behind it and why it's used, as opposed to like someone who's maybe not in college and doesn't get exposed to these words, and then they hear it on TikTok and they're like, "What is that?" Like, you feel me?
Yeah, that makes sense. That's also why the older people, I guess, are like, "What the heck?" So.
Yeah, it's definitely the older people and like the edgy kind of middle schoolers.
The Dixie D'Amelio stands.
Oh no, don't.
We're calling you out. Just kidding. No, but I don't know. I think that this is like an interesting question for them to ask in this video. And then that one lady was like,
I love that you say that
like
as it says on the screen, spanking your child is.
I didn't even read that. But I mean, yeah, because I feel like a lot of people are like that one lady where they're like, I don't agree with it because I don't use it. I'm like, okay, then don't use it, but don't ruin it for everybody else. Like, babes, it's not that hard.
Stop being a party pooper.
Yeah.
I think she's I think out of all of them, she's probably the most old school. I mean, older. No, she's not like old, but like I think she's the oldest there.
I get what you're saying. Yeah. Different generation.
Yeah.
True.
Boomer. No, just kidding.
All right, let's see what they'd have to say about spanking children.
Oh man.
3, 2, 1, go.
How hard?
Exactly.
Someone say how hard.
Oh man.
My parents are not gonna like that I went right here.
I am a teacher. Like Latinos are, at least my Latino parents that I see in my schools are so quick to like, the kid could just say something back, like finish a sentence for the parent. The parent is like, blah, dale un manoplazo en la cara. And it's like, but why though? Because I see this other kid who's white and it's out here wilding.
I spanked my kids maybe twice their whole life, a little bit. It wasn't even like that much. I remember the one time my mom spanked me and it stayed with me. I don't recommend it. I'm not here like, oh, pro spanking, but I think it should be, it's somebody's right to a certain point.
I think that some of, my family members who haven't had the privileges of education and the kind of lifestyle that I have don't have that space. Because I remember when I first got to the US, like in Colombia, we're a very violent country. And I think a lot of what we see is just that being replicated into our families. But there was a certain point where my mom was gonna smack me like that. Like I would talk back to her and and when I was 13, I just grabbed her hand midair one time. And I was like, we're not doing it like this anymore. And I think a lot of that was coming from my American side.
Spanking to me is a tool that is easiest. It's like if they're old enough to have a conversation about what they did wrong, then have the conversation. Yeah. And if they're not old enough to understand what they did wrong, then why would you hit them?
Spanking is the hardest thing to do. I agree with you, but spanking is the hardest
She's like,
thing.
but I still did it.
I agree with the last guy. Just psychology.
It creates a fear in people, though.
Is that good?
You guys remember in
I don't know what the question was.
Movie Selena, when they're in the
I feel connected
with my culture.
3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah. Third generation guy.
You guys remember in the movie Selena, when they're in the van and Abraham is talking to Selena, and he's saying like, being Mexican American is hard. You have to be twice as Mexican for the Mexicans, twice as American for the Americans, and it's exhausting.
Yeah.
And that's more or less where I am right now. And that's why I moved completely away from national identities. Like, that's why I don't identify as Mexican, because to Mexicans who are from Mexico, I'm not Mexican enough.
That's another thing that I also have an issue with, is just because I'm paler, I'm güera, I get thrown into that white supremacist kind of category that no one really likes. And that literally, destroys me mentally. Like, it's just no one has the right to tell you what you are or assume what you are, and it's really just frustrating.
I really like that you bring up that point, because I think as a community we need to do a lot of work around that, in the sense that I have noticed in my own experience how me having light skin has definitely yielded me different results, or I've been able to push different boundaries I've had different access.
Because we do have a lot of things in common. You know, as a people, we have, I know it's not just language, because if you don't speak Spanish, you're still gonna be fully embracive of the culture. So I just love finding those commonalities between different, nationalities. It makes me happy.
Damn.
We're finished.
Virtual group
They show the behind the scenes and
Hey
they're
guys,
all
my
punching
name is
each other in the
Michael.
parking lot.
What you say about spanking kids?
It's so amazing to see where people will stand. On the
I
lines.
think
Michael's
just
the
like this
director.
video, we started off very strong, and then towards the end we didn't. we talked a lot about like tacos.
Hey,
Brian,
what's up?
Hey.
Yeah, I feel like with the spanking question, I feel like if we would have gone in deep with that, we probably would have been like exposing our traumas, like on the internet.
About spanking.
I know all of us were
now.
just like hella quiet.
we were just all that eye, that eye emoji.
Yeah,
The two eyes.
the two eyes and the lip emoji.
Yeah, that was us right now.
Yeah, honestly,
I just feel like.
Oh no, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I feel like that would have been like a longer discussion, and I was trying to like go.
Yeah, that's also why.
I was trying to get this to go faster.
He's like, I'll talk about this in therapy.
Bro, honestly, and also I feel like I still haven't
Recovered.
Yeah, well, not recovered, but like I haven't really, dove deep into like what that did. Like I'm still figuring that out, but
it's a longer conversation.
Definitely way longer, and it's not long enough because Alan's got a dip soon. So.
Save it for a podcast, which you can check out at Pod of Cultura on Instagram at LFT UCLA, where we post all of our content, such as our videos, the one you're watching right now, the reaction videos, as well as our podcast, and we even have a TikTok at LFT_talks, where we post movie reviews every Monday, as well as tutorials and stuff like that. So we will be posting every Wednesday a new reaction video. Let us know what you want us to react, and make sure to dislike our video and don't subscribe, please. Yeah. Reverse psychology, Alan.
This is
reverse psychology.
Okay.
You gotta cheat the system a bit.
Yeah, I thought I was a psych major over here.
Dang.
Whatever.
Bro,
All
not
right,
me. Oh, go ahead.
All right, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, not me remembering I have to do a movie review Monday, like barely right now.
I always remember last minute too, so it's okay.
Okay, cool.
All right, well, that's been another episode of LFT Reacts. We'll see you guys next time. Adios.
See ya, everyone.
Later.
Bye.
It's fine.